What is up, guys? It is your favorite night of the week, or at least it's our favorite night of the week. It's Tuesday night, and we're talking all about This Is Us, episode 9. We're on Kate, number 2. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This is not the right summertime.
I'm happy though. I'm happy.
I think at this point my song was better
Just
than
a
this.
little break from the norm. Just a little something to break from monotony. All the hardcore.
I'm gonna let her have this for a
Out of
second.
control. School dance. What about a
Okay, in his defense, we gave him like 3 different songs.
Yeah.
We tried really hard to find summertime. That
We
young
did find
Kate
summertime.
sang, but this is the summertime that we got opening, guys. So take it for what it's worth.
This is Erica's version of summertime.
She's
Thanks, Steve.
enjoying it right now.
Oh my
What is
God.
up, guys? Thanks so much for joining us. I know you all have been like killing it in the live chat already, talking up a storm. So we're gonna address all of that. My name is Candice Cruz. You can find me on all of my social media at Candice R. Cruz. I'm joined by my favorite co-host.
What's up, everybody? I am Keith Andre here. You can follow me all over social media at Keith_Andre.
And I paid Candice to say that because we all know we're definitely not her favorites. I'm just kidding. I'm Lina Noory. You can find me all over the internet at Lina Noory.
And I'm Erica Shannon, and like Candice said, thanks everybody that's in the chat already. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Airy Baby.
I'm still laughing inside about this opening song.
I mean,
I'm still going.
Oh, she's still going. She ready. She feeling it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my
We can get
God.
into the
All
episode.
about Kate this episode, and they did not, like, they went straight out the gate.
So I feel like I'm going to explode if I don't just say it.
Go.
I was not that impressed with this episode.
I wasn't either.
They served it way high, had the anticipation going. I feel like, honestly, the commercials and the previews were better than the actual episode. They kind of underplayed the miscarriage from Kate's perspective, I feel like. Of course, she had her breakthrough with her mom, which I'm sure will break down. But I just was watching, and I was expecting, before we viewed, I was saying, I'm going to be in tears. Where's the tissue boxes?
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
And it's when someone kind of hypes up a restaurant. I'm not trying to give a dumb example, but to explain, or someone's like, this is the best song, this is the best movie, and they hype it up so much that when you go to watch it, you're kind of like, that wasn't
Wasn't as good as I thought it was.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Especially after my like mental breakdown last week with Kevin, so unexpected. With Kate, I don't know, and I don't want to sound insensitive, but she kind of annoyed me all until her mom came, because I think she just it was all surface. Like, I didn't see any depth, and it wasn't the actress by any means, because I love Chrissy. I think it was just the character in general didn't have, like, she wasn't allowing anybody to get in. I don't even think she was dealing with her own feelings. Like, it was just kind of void, and I was like left wanting more.
yeah, I think we all were super excited about the episode. Like you said, it was a lot of anticipation built up around it, and we had our own expectations of it. But I mean, to be fair, I feel that the story or the narrative of the episode was true to like Kate's character. I did like that I guess they're streamlining all of the 3. So to see it like pick up and hear some of the things we heard in the other episode and just see it from a different perspective. And then lastly, I think with the miscarriage thing, we all wanted it or just expected it to be this big moment. But I think maybe one thing they were mindful of, or one thing that they did do well, is just showing that this really is something that happens in everyday life, and it is, you know, a bit more normal than I guess people would expect it to be. So I was okay with like her responses or them like, you know, dealing with it. But I mean, for it to be This Is Us, we did want, I really came here to cry today. I didn't wear any makeup. I was like, it's fine.
No
because
makeup.
We
the-
all said
the
we were going to
tears are
cry.
coming.
Yeah.
And I was left, well, I mean, we'll talk about that later, but I want to hear.
I feel the same as you 3, so I'm not going to reiterate that.
Oh God,
However,
we don't disagree this week.
However, I will point out the things that I did like. I did like seeing what a miscarriage might look like from Toby's perspective, because I feel like in a lot of TV shows we always see it from the woman that's experienced it. We don't really get, so that conversation that they had, I really appreciated. And then of course I love the scenes with Rebecca and Kate.
I think I was most impressed with Toby this episode out of everyone, because like you even said, we were talking, that he was giving you Jack vibes.
I was just about to wait till you were finished.
Yeah.
Like, he was giving me Jack vibes.
Yeah, and
he's ahead of, like, he's already anticipating how Kate's gonna react and trying to do, what is it, damage control is the best way to call it. I loved him.
And I
loved him this episode.
What I really loved is we got to see more of him and see more of just like Toby himself versus just like Toby with Kate. We really got to see his emotions because I feel like he is an amazing character and really dotes on Kate, which is amazing. Like, I love him for that. But I think we really got to see the human aspect of him and what he's going through. And like, I love that he voiced it because a lot of men either just, he was like, I'll love you and I'll rub your head and tell you it's okay till the cows come home, but this did not just happen to you. And I think that a lot of times we automatically feel like the guy's got to be the man in the situation, which, yes, in one token, of course, but at the same time, like, this is your baby too. It's not just one person involved in this whole thing, especially if you're talking parents. Like, he's going to help you raise it in a little while too. So I mean, it's a partnership here.
I did love that she addressed, and in the conversation, I feel like they did a valid point in making both sides like relevant and showing Toby saying this affected me too, but then also her saying my body's gonna think I'm pregnant for the next several weeks. I'm the one that actually went through it. They showed the pain where she grabbed at the shower. I think what threw me off, and I know some people in the chat agree, well, most seem to agree that there was ups and downs. I think it's the way they introed the episode. I was still confused.
Yeah.
What happened? How did the miscarriage happen? All I know is it said rattles. Well, we're watching it with headphones, so it has the writing. We heard some rattles. She's already at the doctor's office. The doctor's already telling me you can try again, but we still don't know what happened. It's like they kept us waiting, how they don't tell us how Jack died. But this is not something you want to keep us waiting with. I feel like it kind of dragged the anticipation of what happened. Did she fall in the shower? Was it a miscarriage? Was it just caused by natural occurrence? And I think I agree that they're trying to do the whole silent part because I have siblings and sisters and I see that some of my sisters deal with it that way. I just feel like I was expecting a breakthrough role by Kate. And you could still be silent and have a breakthrough role.
Yeah.
And that was the interesting part about it. The way we were set up when we were watching it, Candice and Keith were on one side and then you and I were on the other side. We didn't understand exactly how the miscarriage happened. Like, we thought she might have fallen.
I thought she
whereas
fell.
Candice and Keith both, I believe both of you thought that she had or was experiencing the miscarriage.
Yeah.
And then that's what caused her to pull down.
Right.
So I understand what you're saying, that it happened, but we didn't see it. And then we find out like 2 minutes later.
And, sorry, real quick. To clarify to Michelle and Ali in the chat, we're not saying that we don't know what caused the miscarriage. We weren't sure if she fell or it was a natural occurrence, and they didn't explain it until they did a flashback like 5 minutes later. Yeah. So my point is that's why I think the anticipation in the beginning for me, the flame went out. Because we're both sitting looking at each other like, what happened the whole time?
Well, I think for that too is like, I agree with them, and I think that's maybe why both of us had the same reaction, is that it just sometimes happens. And I feel like we would have heard more of a clutter if she had fallen versus her just pulling and hearing her say Toby as she was pulling it down and hearing the clutter. So I don't know, that was just like the way I perceived it. But I also didn't think, like, I wanted more from the whole episode, but I also didn't expect them to do like this whole like her falling down and having the miscarriage. I felt like the more and more she talked about being an older pregnancy and her weight, I was like, this is just going to be like a regular miscarriage, because they've brought it to light so many times where she's like, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, right? That it was like inevitable that it was going to happen like that. But I don't know. Yeah, it just left me waiting. Yeah. And I think we're all kind of like, I came from a high last week.
I thought last week's episode was fantastic. Way better.
Yeah, and then this week, and I mean, I did like seeing young Kate and Rebecca interact. And this is kind of going off a tangent a little bit. I went home and just like watched all This Is Us behind the scenes stuff when I left last week, because I was still on the like, This Is Us train. So It was interesting, and I know that this video has come out a long time ago, is that the young actors made it a point to not interact with the adult actors as much as possible. Because they don't want to have the adult actors' performance influence theirs. Which I find amazing, even more so, because they are so in sync and so in line, and their performances very much reflect the older ones. So it makes sense that, like, this is a natural progression for Kate. And I really thought she did an amazing performance as young Kate, because this is the most I think we've ever seen of young Kate. We see a lot more of young Randall and young Kevin than her dialogue. We see her all the time, but we don't really hear a lot of her.
That's what I was gonna say.
Storyline.
We see her,
but
in
we
the
don't.
background or off to the side or sitting next, consoling. We don't hear her voice.
Yeah, which I think is probably indicative of the character of what they're trying to get from Kate. But it was really nice to see her get to see a little bit more of.
I do like the high school Kate. I like the high school Kate.
Yeah, she's great.
Even though she doesn't get along with her mother, and she exemplifies what a high school kid would act like when your mom's in your room, scuffling through your stuff. She also has that jealousy with her mom, too. And I love the older Kate. I just didn't love this episode.
Yeah.
And I think
It was still a good episode, but I just didn't love it. Is the best way to say it.
Not your favorite. And I think with high school Kate, it was nice to see, because we all have been talking about this relationship that she has with her mom and this rift. So it was nice to see her, you know, have the rift, but then like come around and open up about the whole school thing and singing. I was so glad that they had that moment, and then it shed light to the moment that they were going to have. I think when she was younger, she said something to the effect of, like, you know, I get it. I wanted to raise my daughter this way, and that's not us. But my job is just always to be here with my arms open.
That broke my heart.
Yeah.
When to hear a mom say, all I ever wanted was for you to, like, love me and me love you. She was, but that's not us. Like, that, to hear that realization of, like, her having that moment of my daughter doesn't love me the way that I wanted her to love me, just, like, broke my heart for Rebecca.
Rebecca doesn't have good communication, though. And the scene where she's on the bed with her daughter, she's throwing out that Randall's gonna probably go to Harvard or some excellent school for mathematics, and your brother is gonna get a scholarship and likely go to the NFL or whatever she was saying, going to college for football. It's okay if you don't know your passion yet. I think that she means well. She doesn't word it correctly, knowing that her daughter is more sensitive. She does have two brothers that excel in two completely different areas. And I can understand, because I've seen in adults where if they have siblings or they have friends that know what they want to do in their life and they don't, that it can be very discouraging. So to talk to a very young girl that's in a very delicate state and has different emotions, and when you're a teen, you don't know where you quite fit. And then your mom's like, oh, it's okay that both of your brothers know exactly what they're doing, but you don't. It's just, she means well. It's just they've never had good communication, the two of them.
Right, and
I don't think that's a fault of Rebecca, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a fault. I'm just saying they just don't have good communication.
Yeah, because I think she tries to communicate, but when you're dealing with somebody who doesn't like you as a person, like, I think she's trying to find ways, and that's where it comes off awkward or like, oh, not the best communication skills. Yeah. I think she's just doing what she can with her.
Kate has always been jealous of her mom. We've seen that throughout the entire show, and seen that their relationship. So, like, Rebecca is trying and doing the best she can, and, like, literally watching her every step. Like, I can imagine being a mom and having to walk on eggshells with your child on everything you say. You know, everything you say could be the little ticker that, like, spouts her off or gets mad. Like, even when she came to the bar and, you know, Kate performed, and Rebecca was just trying to be like, da-da-da-da. And even at the football game, she was like, I could have helped you. She's like, yeah, you could have. When did you give your mother the opportunity to help you? She clearly didn't know any of this. So, yeah, she could have. And you sound like you're pissed off because she didn't help you. But you never gave her the chance.
She can't control her insecurities. And I'm not, like I was saying, I'm not saying that Rebecca is the one that's wrong in this case.
Right.
But Rebecca, as the adult, it's a clear fact, as we've seen through, 2 seasons now, that her daughter is sensitive. And I was actually expecting on the bleachers, remember when she's like, oh, I went through your stuff, sorry? I was waiting for the but.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to say, you did great. You see? So that's what I'm saying, because I'm used to Rebecca wanting, it's a positive thing. She wants so much for her daughter, but she should know by now what your daughter's going to college, that she is sensitive. I was waiting for the but. I was surprised when she didn't say, I liked your tape, but
you could have done
a different song. I was waiting for the but, and when there was no but, I was confused for her. And I feel like if the brother didn't hurt his knee, there might have been a butt coming shortly after.
But
I
also,
don't know, I'm gonna give Rebecca more credit than that.
I was gonna say,
I'm not giving her credit. I'm saying she's.
No, I'm just saying I'm going to give her more credit than that. I think that, you know, we've seen, you know, one side of her. We've seen how she is. So, like you said, you kind of set up for the butt because, you know, the rift that they have as adults or, you know, the other things. So, to see that she didn't, I think that shows that she knows who her daughter is. But it's only so much I can do if you're sensitive.
I was gonna say, I think it's going back to what you were saying, I think, Candice, about being jealous. I think it's more so that conversation that they had at the hospital where Rebecca said disappointment, and Kate in response to that said, it feels like you're disappointed in me. I think no matter what Rebecca says, it's always going to feel that way to Kate. It's always going to feel, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but even in that phone call when older Kate told her mom about the miscarriage, she, in her mind, she's like, I've disappointed Toby, I've disappointed, you know, my mom, I've disappointed all of these different people. So I think to an extent, I think Kate lives within this thing of, no matter what I do, I'm going to disappoint somebody.
Yeah, and also now that we're kind of jumping around a tad, is that this shade that she threw Randall on that couch when her and her mom were talking about, like, you know, them as children, and you know, Rebecca was sharing that bit of her like past with raising the triplets and everything. She was like, I know I needed to create space to love you two and to love Randall. And then she said, and you loved him a little too much.
Yeah,
I was like,
my
daggone, there it is.
Yeah.
But behind
was
every
so
joke
cute.
is a little bit of the truth.
Right.
A lot of bit of truth on this one, I think.
But she was overcompensating with Randall.
of course.
And I'm sure they're scripting it for it to look that way, but I can see, listen, I'm not backing Kate up. She's a teen. She has mixed emotions. She's incredibly insecure. And this is how she's responding to her gorgeous mother who has an incredible voice, and then Jack loves her so much. And she sees, you know, they've even shown scenes where Kate's looking at the way Sophie and Kevin are together. And she sees the way Rebecca's treating Randall. There's like clips where they try to hone in on her lacking love, and she doesn't feel love. And I'm not saying that it's the parents' fault. It's just, you know, she's a unique kid with deep insecurities, and I would think as a parent, they could at least try to communicate better. But obviously now that they got older, I feel like this was the breakthrough. So if one thing came out of this episode, it was that there's a breakthrough between Kate and Rebecca.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful breakthrough. I absolutely loved that whole bit, because after the phone call, when her mom just showed up at the door and like Kate hesitated and all she did was didn't ask, she just held her, and then Kate collapsed. I was like, that is a mother-daughter moment that I know all of us, I'm sure all of us have had, where you just need your mommy and you need your mommy to hold you. And it was just like, but it went back to the conversation in the hospital too, where she said, I will always love you, whether you want to love me back or you don't love me, I will still be here waiting with open arms, whether or not you come into them, or something along those lines.
And even in that scene, I don't know if it looked like this to anybody else, but it looks like Kate was trying to collapse, and Rebecca continued to pull her up, and that's when she said, I'm here, because she's trying to reiterate through her body, her literal body, that she will be there to lift Kate up, even if Kate doesn't want her there.
That was
wasn't
the moment
expecting
I
her to
finally
be there.
cried.
I feel like like that was the key moment where they finally communicated the way they should have been communicating their whole life. Where Rebecca just took a step back, let the emotions go, let her feel, let Kate need her, and then gave incredible advice, explaining that, you know, with the father and what happened with her, it's not considered a miscarriage. So, I mean, the twin, stillbirth died at birth. But I think she gave incredible advice, and I would say that they finally, and I think that's what the underlying message of the episode was, showing how they lacked communication from the beginning until this point, where I feel Rebecca was a perfect amount of, she didn't say anything to Toby when Toby walked in. She just said, I'm going to go get some coffee. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I know. She gave a little bit of an extra embrace, so Toby knew that she knew, and it was just, I felt like it was perfect.
I think this is something that we were even talking about. It was either last episode or a couple episodes ago when we were talking about the possibility of this happening.
Yes.
Was that we hoped that Rebecca and Kate would be able to bond because of, I think it was you that brought it up, was hoping they would be able to bond over the loss of a child and be able to have that moment. But I just really liked that. I think something Kate was always lacking too was that Rebecca never really shared much about her stories.
Yeah.
Or about herself. So
Yeah.
she never really got to know her mom. You know, I don't think they've ever shared stories other than like, well, my mom was so hard, I tried to love you more. Or because I was a singer, let me relate it to that. She never just gave a human story of her with her dad or anything like that. So I think that's something that they were lacking and you finally got, because she even said, I never knew any of this. So it's nice to kind of realize, oh, you are like a human, a person.
Yeah.
Like you broke down in a grocery store over onions, Mom.
Exactly.
Okay, that was her onions. First of all,
Yes, they
first
were.
of all, if I see a woman in a grocery store, at first when she was pushing the baby cart, it looked like 3 little watermelons.
I know, right?
In the
All
shopping cart.
stacked
I
on
didn't
top
know
of
what
each
you were
other.
talking
They were
about.
on top of each other. Like, first of all, there was no separation.
But that's how they did it back then.
And if,
Yeah.
but if I
Yeah.
see a woman turning onto the cart, she's clearly having a breakdown. Give her the goddamn onions.
Yep. Agreed.
The lady was pushing back with her shopping cart. Like, give her the onions.
Oh my God.
Give her the onions.
I'm so sorry. You have 3 children here. Take the onions. I'll get the
Yeah.
purple ones. What that? I don't know
Right.
the difference
Like,
between yellow
one
and purple.
kid
Does
is
it make a
hard.
difference?
She has 3.
Yes.
Yellow are generally sweeter.
Oh, are
Like
they?
the
Yeah.
Vidalia onions.
I'm learning things every day, guys. I learned them just in time for
okay.
Thanksgiving.
I'm saying for
okay.
Thanksgiving, this cooking that I got. Okay, I'm not gonna get into it.
Yo, but literally, if I saw a woman with 3 kids, it's so hard to even handle one kid at
Let alone
6
3.
weeks old.
Well,
Yeah,
You
that's
said
what
it
she
was
said.
6 weeks. 3.
don't they get help? Doesn't the government give families help if they have more than 3 children?
I don't know if it's automatic.
Okay, you have to but back then it didn't work. Sorry, that was a little off topic.
And even if the help was there, it doesn't change the fact that it was only one bag.
right,
of
right,
onions.
one bag of
And what
onions.
is- what
Give me those onions.
The store employee, he should have been
Right.
like, "Ma'am, I will go check in the back and see if we
Thank
have some more
you,
onions.
yes.
Like,
Right.
stay right here." He was like, "Can I help you?"
Yeah.
Sir,
But it was
alleviate
really
the
good
situation.
to see
Yes.
that side of her, and you saw how interested Kate was in the story. You know, that to see them on the couch having that moment where she's crying, and then having a fun like a story. I did feel like that real kind of companion, kind of parental situation that we don't always get to see.
Hanging out on the couch and just watching the episode, like that was just enough for me to see them just curled up on the
Yeah,
couch,
yeah.
just watching the episode. I'm like, oh. But that breakdown that Mandy Moore did in that grocery store was amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Like
because
it
it
was
built.
so beautiful and real, and I'm just imagining her as an actress at the end of that having to like recover from literally having that heartfelt breakdown. Because that was her moment to realize that. Because the reason why I think this, I could be wrong. It's just my impression when she said I never got to feel for Kevin, and I never held him and all that other stuff.
Oh, Kyle.
Kevin. Sorry, all the K's.
Right.
Kyle was that moment in the grocery store wasn't about the onions. It was about the fact that she finally like just let all of it
Allowed
out.
herself
She'd
to
been
feel it.
pinting everything
Yeah.
up, and it was just like a breaking point of like, give me my
So-
onions.
And then that's when she said she went home and told Jack
Exactly.
about it.
exactly.
Exactly.
And honestly, just exactly touching on that Mandy Moore scene and what we got from her in that moment about the onions, that's what I wanted from other people in the episode.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, I'm hoping some people in the chat agree with me or you guys agree with me. Even the Toby and Kate scene, it was cute, the whole like, no, let's switch sides, you put your head on me. I expected more from that scene too. That was the first time you guys communicated after she pretty much disappeared. You thought she could have been in the hospital. Somehow the shower curtain comes back up. I needed more. And
it
this
was
episode, I needed more at the end. I'm glad that they ended on a happy note. I'm not saying that I wanted this experience to break them and it be, oh, this is the worst. I'm never gonna have a kid again. I'm not saying that at all. It's amazing that they could come from it. But I needed more from Toby and the Kate scene. I like the Kate and Rebecca. I needed more from Toby and Kate. It was just way too easy. Like, oh, okay.
I was okay with that though. I think we had to keep in mind, like, I get it, it's This Is Us, it brings the drama and all that, but I think they do make a point to make this as real and as
Yes.
okay, it's okay, people will agree with you.
No, because I thought I was gonna get hate for it. I thought people were gonna be like, how dare you?
But I
Lina?
think they do make it
Yeah,
a
I
point to
agree.
try to normalize it, to make it as real to life as possible. And we've all, leading up to this, we've talked about the importance of it because it is such a huge issue, and it's something that literally happens every single day around the world, and people, you know, pick up and they move on from it. So I was okay with the resolution that we got from Kate and Toby because I felt that it was true to kind of who they are and how they've always interacted. I didn't need to see them. I didn't need more
I
drama.
agree with you. I wanted the same end result because it is something common. That's why, I mean, not common. I don't want to say that, knock on wood. I don't want everyone feeling like now it's in the universe.
Right.
But it is. That's why women don't say that they're pregnant until 3 months. That's kind of like when you're in the safe zone. So as I said, I didn't want a complete breakdown like the world is over. I actually like the fact that they're showing that they came from it. It's probably going to make them closer. It made Rebecca closer with her mom. But in that scene, she disappeared. She left the middle of, she was singing at, was it the restaurant? And she's somehow wandering. And I wanted to know more about the food. I wanted her to say, hey, when I'm devastated, I turn to food.
But
because
we
I want
saw
to know
that.
where she gained, I want to know where she gained the weight. That was actually the number one question I was asking is, teenage Kate looks great. She was stylish. I liked her style. Yeah, she's a bad attitude.
You can be bigger
with her
and
mom.
have style, though. You can be bigger and have style, though. There's plenty of.
I'm saying she was. I'm saying I liked.
stylish.
No, I'm not saying you can't
Okay.
be big and stylish. I'm saying like she had a good vibe. I'm saying she was spunky. She was singing. She was submitting to Berkeley. I want to know what point she became this insecure Kate that we have now. Where
I mean, her dad's
clearly
death.
she within 12 hours, 12 or 16 hours after she has a miscarriage, 12 hours she's at the outdoor patio singing, and within a couple hours after that she's eating. I want to know, because obviously it's when she's that upset, which now makes sense that it's going to be about her father's death. But I wanted to break, the whole point I felt like for the Kate, the 3, is to break into, not the breakdown of her character, but I wanted to see more about what the evolution of Kate is to today, and I didn't see that.
I get that, but I also think too, like, you do see that Kate, like, and I even said this at the beginning of this episode, is that she puts a shield up and she shuts down. She doesn't feel, she just shuts down. And so she eats to consume all of that. And I have a feeling, we've even seen in previous episodes when she used to go sit, and Kevin was calling this out, I think it was a 20s episode, where he said, but you're the one that's still driving up and sitting at the house and waiting for him to come out and just eating your feelings.
Yeah.
So it had to have happened in between that time, the fact that, like, she lost her father, and then in between 17 to 20 something, you're driving up and looking at that house and reminiscing on it, and nothing's feeling and fitting in that hole. So you're just going to keep eating to fill that void. And I was very proud of her because I think it does show as much as I wanted more of an evolution of Kate, I think we saw a little bit of it, because the fact that she filled it up and filling up the plate was enough, and she pushed it away.
Yeah.
And she realized how far she's come. She finally has the love that she needed in her life, because she was lacking love. I agree with all the points that we're making. She's like found her love with Toby. Yes, this is a devastating
Toby.
thing, but like she's realizing, she even says it when she talks to Toby at the end, like, I want to try again. I'm just not ready yet. But she's having these realizations and allowing herself to go through these emotions versus previous Kate, I don't think would have. Like, especially sleeping with a married man and trying to fill love and fill void and, like, just going through the motions of life. I think she's finally like, okay, let me live. Let me find that happiness with my mom. Let me find that happiness with the Toby. And yeah.
So you could look at it as this being the start of a new chapter for Kate, and basically wiping the slate clean with her mom, starting fresh, wiping the slate clean with Toby, and in 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 12 weeks, however long she gives it, having it, working on having another baby. So I think this is Kate's purging, for lack of a better word, for her to start something new and continue her life in this trajectory instead of staying where she was before.
Yeah, for sure. And not only that, this episode too was more about showcasing, I think, the relationship that she has with Rebecca. I mean, we know even around this time, we see her, like you said, she's teen, she's youthful, she's fun, but let's not forget, in just a couple of weeks is when her father passes, because we know...
Are we ever going to find out?
Eventually.
Yeah, we will.
Sooner or later. But I think that's why we got to see such a different side or a different experience from her. I get what you're saying as far as, because in our minds we think we know like her timeline, and so this is what happened with her dad, and then maybe she started eating, and then she becomes this person. So that is such a huge part of who she is. But I think the focus was more on tying in this storyline with her being pregnant, with not going well, and now mending with Rebecca.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for the mending with Rebecca because I think the last 2 seasons we're all annoyed with their relationship and their lack of communication. But if we're going to compare it to the big 3 that they kept calling the big 3 and they kept advertising that we're going to see Randall's character, and I feel like in every episode they were connecting it to the father, and I didn't really feel that a lot for Kate in this episode. So maybe that's where the disconnect is for me, is that the connect was supposed to be Kate and her mom and not Kate and her dad. But with Randall, we saw that when Beth's first pregnant, kind of like his breakdown that he had and his evolution, and his mom came to visit. Remember when she's giving birth and he kind of had to get his shit together.
But we're
and with
not
Kevin,
gonna
we
see
saw huge.
Randall's big episode until next week.
But we've still, even the episode before Kevin's, that's what I'm saying, like based off Kevin so far and what we even saw underlining in Randall's, we saw a lot from Randall the episode before that with Beth's first pregnancy and how you know, he had that.
I'm just saying to kind of clear up the episodes that because the way it's presented is that these 3 episodes are going to show us like huge impacts of who these people are. And like you said last week with Kevin's, we really got to see like the things that really shaped him and made him who he was. So I agree, I don't feel that we really got to see kind of the total shaping of who Kate is, whereas looking forward to Randall's, and we know it's going to be about, because like I said, the good thing is with the episodes, it's like the same period from each person's perspective. We saw Kevin with the football.
It's like a vantage point. You guys ever watch that movie?
Yeah.
I actually like that they did that. Because at first I'm like, are we watching the same
That's what I thought
episode
too.
from last week?
That's what I thought too. So knowing that we know Randall, a huge part of who he is and what shapes him is the education piece and like trying to go to school. So I do agree with Kate's. It feels like it was more just into the storyline that she has now. We don't see what really shaped her.
There wasn't anything dramatic.
Right.
Like we're seeing these big breakthrough moments. We're seeing all this. So I get where you're coming from, I think, is that we're getting so much juice from these 2 characters that we're not really getting a lot from Kate's character.
Like Kevin's monologue on the field.
Yeah.
I don't need Kate to have a breakdown, but I needed something deep to see where this aggression as a young girl is coming from.
Yeah.
I get that.
And I don't think, well, probably now from seeing this episode, I don't expect to have that type of moment with Randall's story.
No, I don't think so.
I don't expect
but
it to be
we'll find out about Randall and his evolution as a man. You know, as we saw, I mean, I didn't understand, so you guys were explaining the whole Howard University and how he's actually, but I feel like this is the evolution of Randall.
Right.
Like Randall's more of a level-headed. He's not like his brother where he does outbursts and is mean or, has the miscommunication with his siblings. So this is his biggest challenge, is finding out that balance for him. Like, which Randall is the right Randall? Which way do I go? What's right for him? Not what's right for Kate or Rebecca. I mean, not Kate, Rebecca or Jack, but what's right for Randall.
I think we can do predictions in a second more about Randall, but I still want to focus on Kate and Toby, especially since this is their episode. And I really, really enjoyed, because we've talked a lot about Kate. I think that Toby had such a pivotal storyline in this one too, with him going to the distribution center. Oh, yeah. Like to see him have that moment, like to see him like be the man in the relationship, being like, listen, I'm going to take care of my woman, and I am not going to let her have any more devastation than she's already had.
I'm a strong and powerful man.
Yeah, and I'm trying to keep it cool right now, but you don't understand.
Exactly.
I love that.
And I appreciated that because I don't know if we've ever seen that side of Toby before. We've seen him be serious. We've seen him be romantic. Of course, we've seen him be funny.
Yeah.
But we've never actually seen where he's used his stature to cause someone to do something for him. In that moment where he was, what did he say? You just said it. He's a large and powerful man.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I'm going to use my size.
And I'm going to puff.
To get you to do what I want.
You're packing shit down.
Even going further, he was like, I will tear this entire warehouse apart just to find this one box.
And it was a baby tub.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
He was like, I cannot allow this to come to the house. If it comes to the house, all hell is going to break loose and everything is going to crumble.
Can I tell you guys something that I think the main scene in the show that I got the most emotional was actually not even Kate and Rebecca. I was kind of expecting that. Like, I think Erica and Candice had said last week that we all knew
knew something.
Right.
They pretty much told us everything in the preview. Is the moment that the packaging guy realizes what is in the box when he says, do you know anybody that's having a baby? And he's like, yeah, my cousin's about to have her third. And he goes, would she like a bath, like this bath piece, or would she like this? That was the moment that I couldn't hold it back. I was like, this is so, because this guy's probably, this guy's crazy. God knows what's in here. Maybe he ordered something he wants to return. It's an ex-girlfriend. He's trying to like intercept a gift he got her. And then when he realizes that it's a tub, and the guy's like, I'm sorry if something happened. And he's like, just his face. Like, Toby didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
But just
Him hitting that wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, just that anguish and that fear and that hurt. And like, just all he wants to do is protect her. And he's letting that outweigh his hurt.
And that was before, and I liked that Carl came running out with it because Toby was about to leave without it. And I think that's why he was really pounding. But I like that Carl came out and was like, I found it, you know, sign here. Like, it was almost like he was scared still at that point. And then what you're saying, Lina, when Toby was like, well, are you having a baby? No. Do you know anybody that is my sister? That was the point that Carl was like, oh, something must have happened. Right. So I want to give my condolences to whatever happened. So I want to see Carl again. I want them to become friends.
Carl was great.
I want them to become friends.
Good job, Carl.
because until then he was just a crazy dude trying to intercept the package.
Exactly. Like, what are you doing, man?
I deal with packages all the time, and we have some crazy people that like, I need my package.
But how unrealistic was that scene? They're not gonna let you walk through the packaging.
I've done it before.
I was gonna say,
Really?
I don't think it's common, but I think it happens.
We've lost a box once, and they didn't. Long story, but either way, we went to the actual facility and like found it because there was thousands of dollars worth of packaging in there, and they'd lost it. We're like, no, you didn't lose it, so you can do that. They're not gonna be happy about it, but you can do it.
Assert yourself like Toby did, and you can get what you want.
I'm not as big as him, but
I'm gonna puff.
Give me my package.
Yeah, I think he did well. We really got to see him almost shine more so than Kate.
I agree.
I think
like
so.
as a character, we got to see a lot of dimension from him. So
You guys, I love how much the men on this show love their women, except for Kevin. He just doesn't know how to love Sophie.
I think he loves her. He just doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't know how.
He don't know how to show it. He's not like, there yet.
But seriously, the love that's on this show is unbelievable. When people write this script, it's not also just the fake, scenic, romantic, like Notebook. Actually, romantic Notebook isn't that stereotypical, but you know what I'm talking about. The easy, they just meet and they fall in love. They have some real challenges that they face.
Because love and marriage is not easy. And I think that they do a great job reflecting that there's like
alcoholism,
a lot of shit that happens.
First, Kate and Toby have like the battle on the weight. She gets insecure because he's losing the weight. She doesn't see a reflection on herself. Then, of course, there was the marriage thing. And then now there's the kid thing. And then with Rebecca and Jack, there's the alcoholism. If you guys remember, Rebecca didn't want children in the beginning. Remember at the bar, they were having a conversation and she's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want kids. And they went home. So they've had some big challenges, not agreeing on kids, losing a child, gaining a child that she had a problem, you know, kind of like latching onto, not in like the breast way, but, you know, just as a mother. And then alcoholism. And, you know, Kevin, we just get nothing from Kevin. Beth and Randall, they kind of have a cookie cutter relationship. What's their... The adoption definitely took it for a turn. Not cookie cutter, but I haven't... What would you guys say is like the major challenges? They met in college.
I mean, hello, breakdown. Then you have I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And I think just because they have good communication, I think that we haven't seen as much of their like crunchiness, but we have to remember there was a way that they got to where they are right now. I think we're seeing all the beauty of like what a lot of hard work takes to have that good of communication with someone. It just doesn't happen overnight. Like even if you have good communication and like you have a good chemistry, it takes a lot to get to where they are. And I think going into, I mean, did you have...
I was just going to say, and circling that back to Toby and Kate, taking Rebecca's advice and actually talking to Toby about it, I think is going to establish that open communication that they'll have. So anything that Kate deals with or even Toby deals with going forward, they won't hesitate, I feel, to talk to each other about it.
Do you think she's going to ask where the bathtub went?
No.
I don't think she cares.
No. I think with...
they're over it. They brought the shower curtain back and they're done?
They're done. They're good.
And that was another moment that I liked when Toby and Kate were embracing in the bathroom after they had put it back,
Right.
and he looks down at her, and
There's a
I don't
little
remember
romance.
what he says, but he's like, there it is,
Yeah.
because he's like, yeah, we're back now.
Yeah.
This is how we are together.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
one now again.
I think a great piece of advice too, and I think this is just like great advice in general of what Rebecca said. I think sometimes we internalize stuff so much and we forget that we have to communicate what we're feeling.
Right.
Because she was like, I tried to save it from your dad. I tried to keep it from your dad. And I felt like I failed him. But in turn, the other person feels like you're shutting off and that you're being cold and that they did something wrong. So in turn of me trying to protect you, it's actually making you feel like I'm challenging you or I'm being mad at you or
Right.
whatever. So
Or
it's
blaming
also
you.
you're
Yeah.
doing the exact opposite of what you're trying to do. And I think her saying that and explaining that way to Kate was like, oh,
Yeah.
all I've been doing is trying to protect you when in actuality I'm hurting you.
So basically, what you're saying is the onions brought them together.
The onions brought them together. They pulled the
all
layers
about
back.
the onion.
Ba-doom.
So a lot of people in the chat are talking about whether or not Kevin is, if Sophie would take Kevin back, and then also the girl that was in the playwright. I feel like he's gonna go after Sophie because it's all he thought about during his
Yeah.
breakdown.
Again, I still stand by. I don't think that they're good for each other.
Yeah. I'm
I hope she
agree
just
with you.
I don't think
Listen
they're
to
good
what
for
he
each
Not
other.
even
says.
talking about him.
Wishes him
No.
the best, but closes the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, talking about the last piece, because we are running low on time and we do have one more of the big 3 episodes going into predictions with Randall. Is that because I already see people doing predictions
I
in
know,
here? So
yeah,
I'm
I've
like,
seen a
all right,
couple.
well, let's just hop right in.
Yeah, they're talking about Sophie.
I
There we
was
go.
waiting for that too.
There we go.
Trying to filter through. I'm so excited to see. It's giving me very much like, you remember that episode in first season where Jack goes to karate class with Randall? I feel like we're going to have the exact same moment because they're going to college and he's like, I can't believe my son's going to Harvard. And he's like, actually, can we go check out Howard?
Yeah.
I love that though.
Shout out to DC
Okay. Yeah.
and HBCUs in general.
HBCUs.
Hey,
I was waiting for it. I was
everywhere.
like, where I'm going.
Right.
the Lincoln University established 1854. Just
Norfolk
saying.
State University, behold the green and gold.
It's
But
probably
you
like-
wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Lincoln.
That's
So there we
fine.
go.
That's fine.
I'm very protective of my school.
Can I can slice the tension right here.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to sit out of this one
All
right
I'll
now.
tell you is, because I lived in Virginia a good part of my childhood, it is cold over there.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
It can be.
Yeah, but isn't Howard
can
down
be
south?
freezing.
Isn't Howard in Georgia or I don't
No,
know.
Howard's in
Is it
DC.
DC? Oh. See how much I pay attention.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know where it is. I don't know where a lot of universities are. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of exploration between Jack and Randall's relationship because I feel like they already have a close relationship, but the drive, I remember those long drives with my parents where you just talk a lot or they talk a lot and
You
you
mean
just
you listen a lot?
Yeah.
Right.
You listen a lot. So I'm interested to see if that's how that relationship's gonna go because I
Yeah.
feel like Jack is so focused on Kevin right now with college and football and everything, and Randall's so close with his mom. I haven't really seen too much of him other than during panic attacks with the hands on the face. So it'll be nice to see the relationship between the two of them.
Yeah.
And Jack trying to filter through going to college and not being what he expects. Because he's expecting Harvard and then now he's like, oh, we're going here. And I don't know if he's going to how he's gonna feel fitting in, all that good stuff. It might be a little crunchy.
I'm excited. I think it'll be a good episode.
Crunchy.
I think that Jack, he tends to feel, he's always going to be Jack.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to feel good about it. I think next week's episode is going to be like another learning opportunity because we get to see, Randall's experience and coming into himself. So I think they'll do a great job of displaying that. And then I know in the chat someone mentioned next week is the winter finale. So as far as prediction goes, does that make you guys think it'll be something like bigger or like super dramatic cliffhanger to hold us over until
I hope anything
Yeah.
better than
Next
this
year.
episode.
I think so.
I do
'cause
think
anything.
cliffhanger, yeah.
Yeah.
They even gave us a teaser, which I think this is going to be the most dramatic out of all of them, is dealing with
Deja.
thank you,
Yes.
Deja
Yes,
and her
her
mom.
mom.
That's going to be like to see Randall fight because we've already seen him fight for her a lot in his own way.
Yeah.
Like when he took those glasses off, I feel like this is going to be another one of those moments where he's like, no, you're not taking her. You are not fit to do this. And she's my girl now. Like, you can't mess with my girl.
Yeah, they're gonna give us something, I think.
Yeah.
What about you, Lina?
So I'm gonna agree with some people in the chat that have been saying they have a tendency of foreshadowing, like making it a bold point. Like we all knew she was gonna have a miscarriage from several episodes ago, just because they always emphasized on her weight and her taking the prenatals and being extra cautious. They keep focusing on the fact that the power keeps going out. So I think that ultimately the death, which we're definitely not finding out by next episode, that's for sure. I think they're gonna cliffhang us when it comes back, and then it's the final season 2 finale. But I think it has something to do with the dog and the power going out. Because I've been seeing the dog a lot lately. And it's been peeing everywhere. But I don't think it's anything to do with the pee. But I think it has to do with the dog
And the
sure.
house. Because, remember, it burns up. I wonder if that fuse is the kickstart to something going wrong with the electricity
It
in the
could
house.
be. It's definitely has to do with the power going out. It could be, if you guys noticed, how many times have you guys seen Rebecca lighting the candles? Do you know how easy it is for a candle to tip over and just a fire to start?
I haven't noticed.
It definitely has something to do with the power. It always ends up where she's back in the kitchen and he walks in the crop top and he's like, oh, and then Kate's like, oh, you're wearing Sophie's crop top? There's always, she's lighting.
Oh, I thought she was
candles.
icing the cake.
She is, but I'm saying there's candles on the table because obviously there's no light.
And also, I was getting ready to say, I wonder if this happens like right after they get home, but I don't think it does because remember his cast. I know that this is a very small detail that I noticed, but he has signatures on his cast, so there has to be enough time that he's got signatures on his cast in order to like.
A little bit.
So I think the fire for sure has to do with something with the power going out, either likely candles, because that's the easiest way for a fire to start is a candle tipping over and lighting something on fire. What I do think the dog is a key is that they're trying to show us how close Kate is with the dog, how she has a bond taking care of it. So it might have something when she says it's my fault to do with him going back in the house to get the dog or something like that. But they keep emphasizing the power going out and this damn dog.
And there's also
not damn dog, it's a cute dog. Not like that, but I'm saying, you know.
In one of their interviews, I did remember them saying, because they were just giving like a clue about Jack's death, is that he will die the way that he lived his life. So he was a good man.
That
so you guys will be very happy with the way it happened, is that he died. I think it was either Justin Hartley in one of the interviews or Milo, where they were talking about like the death. They weren't giving any clues other than the fact that like the way that he died is the way that he lived his life. So I'm assuming it's something very noble for whatever it was, the way that he died. So I don't think it has anything to do with alcohol at all.
Okay.
But that's just my...
I don't think it does, but they keep foreshadowing this dog and the power going out.
Yeah.
So it's something to do with the power and something to do with the dog.
And to be fair, it's just we saw the same thing twice.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's just a different vantage point.
The vantage, yeah, I agree, but
it's not that we keep seeing it; it's the same thing. But I agree. I think that may lead us somewhere.
That's interesting.
What you got?
I can't top what the three of you nor anybody in the chat is saying. So I'm just gonna move on to news and gossip.
Yeah, do it, girl.
If possible.
We got a little bit of time left.
But I think we can all agree we're not finding out anything about Jack the next episode.
No.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No.
As long as we're on the same page, because they're not giving us anything.
No.
And it's killing me.
I don't know. I have so many thoughts in my head. I'll break them down on Twitter later.
There you go.
But in news and gossip, we have NAACP Image Award nominations.
Yeah.
They came out. The show's going to be on January 15th, 2018. And for Outstanding Drama Series, This Is Us was nominated. So congratulations to the whole show. For Outstanding Actor in a Drama Series, Sterling K. Brown.
Yep.
For Randall, which
Of course.
we all love. Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series was Susan Kalichi Watson, who's Beth, of course.
She's amazing.
Of course.
And also Outstanding Performance by a Youth in a Series, Special Television Movie,
Little
or
Randall.
Limited Series. Girl, can I just... It's my news and gossip.
Oh, I was guessing. I didn't know.
Yes.
Oh, I was just guessing.
Lonnie
I love
Chavez
him.
was nominated for This Is Us. And also for Outstanding Writing.
Yeah.
Vera Herbert was nominated.
Amazing.
So congratulations to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, but for writing, for acting,
For all
that's so
around.
I didn't know about Little
Congratulations.
Randall, but he's such a good actor.
Testament to
I
the
love him.
whole cast, to the crew, to casting, for all of it. I think that they're just doing like a fantastic job.
Incredible job.
I'm surprised Jack, or not Jack, what's his name? Milo didn't get a nomination.
He could have, but they just chose to give it to Sterling.
Yep, there you go.
He deserves it as well.
And because
You
which
can't have
which
two
was
people
it?
from the same show being nominated? Is that not how?
No,
they
you
can.
probably
You
can
can.
because
Yeah.
they were nominated. Sterling and Milo were nominated for a Golden
Emmys.
Globe.
Oh, they were?
Emmys.
Okay.
Emmys. And Chrissy was nominated, and Mandy Moore.
But I was gonna say Sterling and Milo were nominated in the same category.
Yes, they were.
And Sterling ended up winning.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, he deserves
So
it, obviously, but
it's been done before.
Kudos to them, and congratulations to This Is Us. And guys, I know we could keep talking because clearly it's the four of us and we can always keep talking, but we are out of time. So I want to wish you and your family and all of your loved ones a very, very, very happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And no place I'd rather be on Tuesday night with all of you guys. I know I'm so cheesy. But thank you guys so much for joining us, and we're ready to round out the big three and the big winter finale next week, so stay tuned on Tuesday. Again, my name is Candice Cruz. You can find me on all of my social media at Candice R. Cruz.
Yes, Keith Andre here. Follow me everywhere at Keith_Andre. I've already started playing Christmas music.
Yes!
So
Me
that's
too.
where I am.
And I actually went to the Grove today where they have that giant
Oh my God.
gingerbread house. And they were
And the
actually
Christmas
filming
tree.
Dancing with the Stars there.
Yep. And
Is it
I know who
snowing?
won, so I'm not going to
But
spoil that.
Did you see snow? The fake snow? That
No,
kind of-
because they
won,
were
who
filming
won?
like Dancing with
Oh,
Stars.
okay.
Anyways, it feels, and there's pumpkin spice everything.
Yeah.
But anyways, you can follow me at Lina Noory all over the social web.
And I hope you all eat some great food on Thursday, Friday, and maybe even Saturday.
And Sunday.
I'm Erica Shannon, and you can find me on Twitter at Miss Airy Baby.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.